Okay, video 3.5 here, call it 3.1, I guess. Kind of an optional step. I mean, if you're comfortable with everything that you did getting this far through video number 3, you solved the Northern Hemisphere, and everything is good. One thing you can check, and you can skip this step entirely if you've done everything right, if the Northern Hemisphere really is solved. The bug in the works here is this piece number 4. This piece number 4, again, it's it's an equilateral triangle. It's going to look good. It's going to feel good in any rotation. Some feel better than others, but if you don't have it right, it's gonna jam you up later. Everything you do from this point forward in the solve is going to be wasted effort if this thing isn't rotated right. So let's just do a quick check. Let's just go to our southern hemisphere. Here's the South Pole. And before we get into video number 4, let's just make sure that everything is where we want it to be before we go on with the rest of the solution. This piece, call this piece the South Pole, this quadrilateral piece. It's always going to be in this position. You don't have to worry about it not being here. It's always going to be here. So I'm going to look at this piece, and I'm going to orient it with the long edge of it toward me. And in my mind, as I conceptualize these pieces, this is basically it's got this appearance of like a mountain. I talked about it in video number 5. Here's Mount Vincent in Antarctica. Here's this mountain peak. Here's how you can tell if piece 4 is in the right rotation. The giveaway that it's not is going to be if I go up from the peak of this mountain to this next triangle piece. It's got to be this piece with these 3 triangles pointing in toward this apex. That's what you should see there. If that's what you see there, you're done here. All you got to do is like and subscribe and stop this video and move on to number 4. There's nothing else here that you're going to need. If you don't see that piece here, what is almost certainly the case is that you think you have piece 4 in the correct rotation, and you don't. Okay, so we're good. But what if we weren't? What if we looked at this piece and it weren't? It weren't? It was not? It were not? There's a reason I'm not teaching English today. But what if I don't see this piece here? Then I'm going to have to fix something. Is there a way that I can rotate this piece number 4 without messing up the rest of my solution getting this far? And the answer, of course, is that I can, but let's go ahead and live test it. All right, so here I am with solved Northern Hemisphere, and I flip it over, rotate around so I'm looking at the mountain peak, and I go up here and I don't see my piece with the 3 triangles pointing toward the center. So I know I've got piece 4 in its wrong orientation. There it is, looks good, feels good, but I know it's wrong. All right, how do I fix it? You've already got the tool you need to fix it, because remember this piece? Remember the last thing we did in the 3rd video was we had to rotate this piece to get it in line with these other 2 neighbors that it has. What we were trying to do then was to rotate one triangle piece in the Northern Hemisphere without disrupting the rest of the Northern Hemisphere. And that's exactly what we're trying to do now. We've already got that move sequence. So now it's this piece that I'm trying to rotate and not this piece. So all I got to do is bring out the same set of moves, but instead of being opposite this piece, back on our old companion piece number 1, instead I want to start opposite this piece. And opposite this piece, I roll around, I want to be opposite this piece. And so I roll around to the opposite of that piece, and I find myself on piece number 5. So I'm going to have piece number 5, holding it like this, with the trapezoids going out on either side. And I'll just grab my rotating moves that I learned at the end of the 3rd video to rotate piece number 4. So I can go L prime, B prime, L prime, B prime, L, B, L. All right, northern hemisphere still solved. I think, I hope, I've still got piece number 4 there that still looks good, but let's go back to the southern hemisphere and check again. There's my peak. Doesn't point up to the piece I want, so I'm going to have to do it again. They're triangle pieces. They only have 3 rotations, so if I didn't get it on the first rotation, the second one is going to do it. So let's roll it over and do the same thing again. I'll come back to piece number 5. Go L prime, B prime, L prime, B prime, L, B, L. Northern hemisphere is solved. Go to the southern hemisphere. There's my mountain peak pointing at that 3 triangle piece that I want it to be. All right, so again, there's what to do if you don't have piece number 4 rotated right. Sometimes you don't know if you have it rotated right. So this is a solution that you can throw at it that does not involve scrambling the whole thing up again and starting from scratch. Hope that helped. That's the end of this short supplement.